Welcome to Tales from the Fandom, a podcast that brings a special guest out of the multiverse and straight to you. And now your host, David Ginsburg.
Hello everybody, and welcome to a special episode of Tales from the Fandom. Throughout this month, there's going to be several special episodes that pop up just as a look back on 2017 and a look forward to 2018 with some previous guests. And this episode, we have Sadie Geerligs coming back. Sadie had her own episode really early on the start of the podcast. She also helped me review both Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and the Beauty and the Beast movie earlier this year. So it was fun to have Sadie come back. Just as a note, the audio quality isn't the greatest, mostly because we were doing it over a lunch break and Sadie was on her phone. But that is a-okay because it's not always about the quality, but it's about the stuff that's contained within. And Sadie is a wonderful guest. I love having her on. She's been a huge supporter of the podcast ever since we first connected, and I am just so grateful for her taking the time during her workday to actually sit down and talk with me about some of the stuff that's been going on with her. So definitely enjoy this episode, and we'll have a few more that will just pop up here and there as we progress through the month of December. And welcome to a special episode of Tales from the Fandom, where I have some different guests coming back for this month, the month of December, as we look back at the year that was and some of the stuff that is coming up in the future. And I have Sadie Geerligs of Sadie by Design returning for her fourth appearance on this podcast. Welcome back, Sadie.
Hi, David. Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be back. We already talked about this, so thanks for dealing with my scratchy throat because I'm getting over a sinus infection.
It's my pleasure to have you back. You're always one of those people that I always think of, like, what could I do with Sadie? What could I fit in to this schedule and have Sadie come back for? And I'm so glad that we're able to do this for this month and just kind of look back at what we've done, since we haven't talked podcast-wise since our Beauty and the Beast episode.
Yeah, and I think that both you and I can agree that what a perfect time to revisit that subject, since I just finished my Belle costume, and it's been my biggest project ever, and every time I think about it or look at a photo of it, I'm in tears because I can't believe that I made something that awesome. And it's funny that was the last thing that we talked about was Beauty and the Beast, and now I just finished her ball gown.
So for those who are listening right now, I need you to just hit the pause button, go to Sadie's Facebook page, which is Sadie by Design, or you can find her on Instagram, and you need to just take a look at what Sadie has done, because the Belle, it's probably, I have to say, it's probably one of the most iconic Disney or even pop culture dresses out there. People just instantly recognize it. It's hard to mistake it for anything else. And the work that you put in, I cannot believe it. And I saw some of the progress as you were making it, and it's just, the end result is stunning.
Thank you so much. It really means so much to me that it's had such a positive reaction. I really did it. I started it back in February, and my plan was to have pictures for you for when we did the Beauty and the Beast review, but I kind of got overwhelmed, and life just kind of happened, and I didn't finish it. So I had a really great opportunity to shoot it at a really awesome location, so I've been busting my butt trying to get it done to do that, and it all came together. I'm really proud of myself because I didn't rush anything, and I counted it up the other day. I want to put it all down in paper sometime, but I think that I have over 50 hours in work in the dress, so it's just it's definitely been my biggest project ever. And I think if people go back and listen to our previous podcast, they'll know how I felt about the Emma Watson ball gown. Not my favorite. But I think the biggest compliment that I've been given has been that it could have easily replaced the dress in the movie and just been so much better. So that's been kind of really awesome to hear because of how much I really did not care for the one that was in the movie. So.
Yeah, I totally get it. And judging on the geotag location, you shot it at the Biltmore, right?
We did. It was such a magical experience. That was the first. So I had put the dress on the night before when I finished everything up, just to make sure that, nothing was falling off or falling out, and it fit. But I didn't have the full effect on because I didn't have the wig styled yet, and that was a whole other ordeal. But when it all came together and I got it all on, and then you're standing next to this true American castle, and, walking through the rose gardens. I went with 3 other people. There was another belle. My friend Sybil of White Knight Cosplay was the Christmas dress belle. And then we had a guy who, he got us the tickets. He was the Beast, for the day. And then our photographer, and we're walking through, and they were so sweet because they let me have my moment. And I was just kind of in another world and just kind of like tearing up, but being like, don't mess up your makeup because you're not redoing it. And it was truly like being a part of a fairy tale for the day, which is just so rewarding after you finish something that I can truly say that I poured my heart and soul into that dress for the past month and a half or so, and it just was cool to see it brought to life in such a way.
There's very few things where, like, I love looking at cosplay pictures, but the way that some of the cosplays that people make are made is just so incredible. How much time, and I know you say 50 hours, and I don't, maybe it's more, but it's... Well,
that's just like sitting behind a sewing machine, and granted, I learned a lot of new things on this project, so that doesn't count like the amount of planning and looking for fabric and going out to buy stuff, and it doesn't account for all of the hours leading up to the actual work that went into it. So it's an investment, like it's an emotional investment for me, because I think that part of the reason I didn't finish it sooner, because I'm kind of embarrassed to say I started it in February, it's just been sitting on a dress form since then, is because I was so, like, to me, like you said, that's one of the most iconic dresses in pop culture. And to me, it's not, side note, it's not my favorite Disney princess dress, but it is the grandest of the princess dresses. And I don't think anyone could argue with the fact that it is supposed to be the most eye-catching and glamorous and big entrance style dress that there is in the Disney Princess Collection. So to me, I spent a lot of time sitting around worrying, like, I don't think I can pull this off. I just really don't see this coming together. And then when it finally started to come together, it was like, oh my God, I think that I'm actually going to pull this off. So,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
So, but let's not talk about that the whole time.
Okay, fine. All right. So since Beauty and the Beast, what else have you been up to? Have you found anything new that you want to share with listeners? Do you want to anything that you like pulled back, that you got back into, that you want to be like, oh my gosh, I got back into this and it's so amazing?
So yes, I had some stuff go on at the beginning of the year, and I mean, 2017, like, I know a lot of people said that 2016 was terrible because of all of I know we had a lot of celebrity deaths, but I feel like 2017 for me and a lot of my, like, close friends and people that I speak with, it's been a rough year just on a personal standpoint. But the great thing is that we all have such great support systems through each other that we've been able to overcome. And I think that I'm a much stronger person because of that. And from self-reflection, I've seen myself grow so much over the past year that it's really humbling to me, because it's just like, man, the person that I was a year ago would see me now and just be inspired, I think, because I think that it's just put me in a much better overall place in life. And because of that, I think that I'm gonna accomplish a lot of great things. As far as new things over the course of the year that have brought me through that, have you heard of Yuri on Ice?
Yes, I have.
Okay. That was my first real obsession this year. It's so ridiculous and flamboyant and just amazing, and it's just, I'll sit down and watch it and it just makes me smile. And I love the love between Yuri and Victor and all of the characters, really. It just gives me warm fuzzies inside to watch it. And the music, the soundtrack for that is super inspiring. I went through a phase where I listened to it like all day, every day, and I still listen to it a lot. So that would definitely be my, like, I haven't watched a ton of anime this year. We've been slowly getting through Noragami, which is another one that some of my friends have been, like, dying to have me watch, and we're finally getting through that, and I love that. And Bananya is adorable. So it's just like a short little mini series. The episodes are like 2 minutes long of a cat that lives in a banana, and it's just super cuddly and cute. And I don't know how else to describe it. It's ridiculous in every sense of the plot. But I really haven't watched a ton of anime this year. I just haven't, like, when I'm crafting, I like to have TV on, and unfortunately anime has to have a lot, like, you have to read subtitles, and so I can't focus on it, and I can't get the gist of what's going on without sitting down and actually giving it all of my attention. So we haven't watched a lot of it because of that. But those would be my three, like, if you're going to try and watch some anime from this year. I know some of them are older than this year. Definitely check those out. So
yeah, I've heard Yuri on Ice is really good. A few of my other previous guests during, I think, April or May had talked about Yuri on Ice, and they really loved it.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely worth checking out. So another thing so if we're talking about things that I recently got back into, everyone knows that the Switch came out this year with Nintendo.
Yep.
So my fiance is awesome, and I was having, like, in the spring, I was having a really rough time with some family stuff and just kind of down about things, and so he actually got me a Switch to cheer me up. I think it was kind of a personal endeavor too, but I'm not complaining. But he knew that I really, really wanted to play Breath of the Wild, so he got it with Breath of the Wild, and I still haven't beat the game because it's like the worst game for someone with attention problems, because there's so much you can do, and you don't have to, like, follow a certain storyline. You can do it in any order that you want to, really. So it's my game that I play when I, like, want to go explore or adventure, and I go out and do some stuff. And so, you know, I've started to finally get to the point where I'm like, okay, I should probably actually finish the storyline of the game, but I've been taking my time with it, and it's hit or miss when I'm playing, but I really, really enjoyed getting back into the Zelda universe. So, cause I really loved Zelda growing up. And then we just got Mario Odyssey. So Josh and I have been playing the 2-player version of that, where he's been Mario most of the time and I've been Cappy, and, it's reignited my love of Super Mario, because it's a really well-made game so far. Like, both games that we have on the Switch, I've been really, really impressed with everything that, like, all of the hard work that went into making the games what they are, because they're some of the best Nintendo games that I've played, I think. So
I gotta ask, because I had no clue. Wait, Mario Odyssey, you can play as 2 players?
Yeah, so you can split the Switch, and it has, like, the little wristbands that make it, like, 2 controllers. We didn't know it made it 2 controllers until we were like, oh, we could actually play it like this. And you can control Cappy with the second joystick. So, like, instead of, like, having to jostle it so that he, like, homes in on enemies, the person can control, like, within a certain radius of Mario, you can actually control his movements and stuff with the second controller. It's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've been playing it together like that, which is cool, because normally I don't play multiplayer games because I don't play well with others. And Josh has told me that he thinks I curse more when I'm playing video games than I do when I'm driving, which is very shocking because I have a bad case of road rage. But I do. It's like I don't know, it's a stress relief, and I just sit there and curse like a sailor at things because I'm not the best. I'm definitely not the best video game player in the world either. So Mario's a bit easier. Zelda, I've like the first time I played Zelda, you like come out of the Cave of Resurrection, and I like was like, oh, what's over here? And then I didn't know that it was a cliff, and I walked off of it and died in the first like 5 seconds I played the game. Are you kidding me? So that was Josh laughed for like an hour at me, but so yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. So I'm kind of looking forward to like Nintendo is my favorite video game developer because they've kind of developed this family of characters that the world loves and knows, and they have continuously put out really good games with the same set of characters, adding a couple here and there, but like, you know, like Samus and Zelda and Mario, and I could keep going, but you know, like it's cool that they have this legacy that they build on rather than just always constantly coming out with something new, and I really like that. So I'm hoping that they come out with a really cool Metroid for it. I don't keep up with news. When it happens, and then I get interested. So hopefully, and then I'm also hoping for like a Smash Brothers for Switch because I think that would be really cool. But I also realize it's like it would have to be probably an online platform because the Switch only has 2 controllers. I'm not sure, but I'm kind of hoping for that because I love Smash Brothers. So
my middle son had asked for a Switch back in like the summer or even early like August, September. So I bought him one, and then he decided to change his wish list to having a laptop. And now I have.
Oh, well, I guess I get to keep this.
Well, I asked my wife. I was like, I have the Switch and I've got Mario Kart, and I don't know what to do with it because I had never intended to buy it for myself because between like working and the podcast and then, you know, family stuff and everything else, I never have time for video games anymore. I was like, I don't know what to do with it now.
Yeah.
And I can't return it, so I just don't know.
Guess we have to keep it. No, I definitely think that if you guys kept it for like a family thing, that you guys wouldn't regret keeping it. So.
Yeah, if there's one game that I'd love to come out for the Switch is Animal Crossing. I'd love a new Animal Crossing.
Oh my gosh,
game.
I loved Animal Crossing. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. If they came out with that, I'd probably never make a cosplay again because I'd be so busy building my little town, my ideal fake life. And The Sims and Animal Crossing were like really bad games for me as a child because I would just like spend hours in front of a computer and the TV, and you don't realize how much time you dedicate to your little fake life that you kind of forget you have a real one. So we'll see. I bet that they will because they've done that on like every platform since it came out. But yeah, so that's my getting back into video games has been a lot of fun. Like I have a 3DS. Oh, I guess I did play Pokemon Sun and Moon. And
hey,
I really
me too.
like that because I've played like every Pokemon game since they came out. We've talked about this before too. So
yes.
That was I actually really enjoyed that game. But I will say that I think that they did so like I've talked about my love of being able to change your character's appearance, and I think that the fashion in Pokemon X and Y fits me better than the Alola kind of islandy, like, Bohemian theme. Just not really my style, but it was I really liked the game. It's, I might have to go back and play that now.
Who did you choose for your starter?
Rowlet.
Me too!
Which is really weird for me because I usually get the fire Pokemon, but I didn't love, like, I cheated. I looked at their evolutions before I got them, and I was like, the fire evolution Pokemon looks dumb when it evolves to Sonos. and the little owl, he's so cute. He's adorable. So, yeah, I had to go with him. So. and it was different. It was definitely a challenge, I think, starting with a different type of Pokemon. But I think overall, because they're like dual element Pokemon, dual types, I think overall that the shadow, or is it ghost, the ghost, having the ghost type as a starter Pokemon was really, really an advantage, because I just feel like it's such an underestimated type in the Pokemon games. So I really enjoyed having that element of it too.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. My kids all chose Litten, all three of them.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I feel like the kids probably wanted the cat.
Yeah. Then they beat me up because they would sink like hours and hours and hours into time, and then they'd be like, "Daddy, come play with us." And I okay. And then they'll hit me, and that's it. It's like, oh yeah, my levels are a little bit low, guys.
Well, let's see. So there's the video game thing. I feel like you and I have to talk about this because poor Emily, she probably thinks I'm a crazy person. But that's been like my obsession recently since I went to the con and met Emily Martin. Her Creatures of Flight series has been my favorite books that I have read this year, which I've actually read a lot more books than I normally do. So I'm like really proud of myself for that, because that was one of my goals this year, was to read more, which compared to some people, I haven't read that much, but I've read like 12 books now. And so those were two of them, and I've really, really loved them. Something that I really like praise authors for is if they do really good character development, because I feel like a lot of times they jump right into the plot and then you don't really get the character development unless you read like 700 pages about them, and then you can kind of connect with them. But I felt like her characters you can really connect with, and it's not often that you get like that strong female character with like, I don't know, sometimes I struggle with female characters in books that are the leaders, because I don't feel like they're developed well. And then even when, like, sometimes I get frustrated with authors when they introduce a love interest for the lead character, because it just all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we're in love. And it's like, okay, real life doesn't work like that. And so I like that her characters have actual like real life problems, and they don't just have this like fairy tale relationship and stuff, even though they do live in a fake world. Like, it's very relatable for someone who grew up as a female in the real world. Like, and I really love that about them. And I'm really excited. Like, really though, like the amount of times I've retweeted her and stuff, she's probably like, oh my God, this girl's crazy. But I really am obsessed with them, and I can't wait until January, because that's much earlier than she had told me that the third book was going to be out. And she's also a local artist, so I really like supporting people who are obviously local to the area, because you got to show some love for where you live.
Oh, absolutely. And right now I've only read that first book, which I need to get on and read that second book. I read Woodwalker. I
can't decide. I like the imagery in Ashes to Fire, but I don't know which one was my favorite. Like, and I think I like that too, because I can't tell you which one I would pick to be my favorite, but I definitely do connect with May on a personal level more. And I really, like, I'd love to cosplay her sometime. So that's like on my like dream cosplay list. Just like, I don't know, I've got a lot of things that I need to finish right now, because I'm really good. Like, I'm a father's daughter. Like, I like to start like 10 billion projects and be like, oh, I probably should finish one of these at one point. So I'm trying to catch up with things that I've already bought materials for and should finish before I go out and buy more materials. Says the person who's going to go buy more materials at the beginning of December, but I can talk about that later. And so that would be like my to read. Like, I'm trying to like push like the things that I've fallen in love with this year on people while we talk. That would be my like books of 2017. That would be my definitely to read list, which I think I've decided, since I've read enough books, that I'm not embarrassed to be like, I only read 3 books this year. I'm going to write like at the end of the year, I'm going to write these are all the books I read in 2017 and my like short opinions of them. And so obviously those will be included. And Let's see. I finished The Hobbit this year, and I finished Lord of the the Fellowship of the Ring this year. So I've got the Two Towers at home. I just haven't started it yet. I started Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy recently, so I've really been enjoying that. I've got like a lot of those super nerdy books that people expect. Like people expect someone who's as big of a geek as I am to have read in their lifetime at some point, but like I just haven't. So, like, that's one of my goals is to finish the Lord of the Rings series, and then Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I think I appreciate the fact that I didn't read them as a kid because Lord of the Rings is slow, and I probably would have found it boring as a child, just because it takes a while to get to everything. And,
right.
And I really think that Tolkien is a great author, but he is a little bit slower paced than my normal liking, but I mean, I'm happy that I'm reading it. They're really good books. So I don't know. Yeah, those are my books.
They're good books to be reading though. And Hitchhikers it's not too bad. I mean, as far as reading goes,
yeah.
I read it the last time I read it was probably about 2004, 2005, and I found it was a very quick read for me.
Yeah, so I've only got I think I have 20 pages left in it. I've just been, since I've been sick, normally I read before I fall asleep, and I've just literally hit the pillow and just passed out. So I have 20 pages left, and I've been reading maybe 2 pages a night, and I'm just like, good Lord, it should not take me this long to finish this book. So, but I have the ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide, so once I finish that, I'm probably just going to go ahead and read the other, I think there's 4 more, I don't know. I have all of them in one volume that a friend let me borrow, so I'm probably just going to keep going because it's such an easy read. So
right. So
yeah, those are my books. Let's see. I don't have a lot more. I had to write a list so that I can not go at 1,000 miles an hour and talk about nothing and everything at the same time. I finally watched Stranger Things season 1. So the world can gasp at me because I hadn't watched it. So I hadn't watched it, and for a year, people had been like, "Oh my God, you need to cosplay this girl," and I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, so I don't care." And then we watched it a week before the sequel or the second season came out because Josh wanted to rewatch it, and he knew I hadn't watched it, and that I'd been a little bitter that he watched the whole thing without me. So I finally watched it, and I actually really liked it. And then the second season came out, so we binge watched that too. And I love it. I don't know. I'm not obsessed with it, but I already have cosplayed 11, as you know. So, yeah, she that girl. Okay, so I've been laughing about this for a month since I watched it because I did a side by side because everyone's told me I look just like her, even though she's 13 in real life, and I'm definitely not. But I did a side-by-side of her, and then I was looking at some of her features, and I was like, I wonder. And I did a side-by-side of her and my little brother, and they look like twins, and I haven't stopped laughing about it since I've seen it. So that girl, Millie Bobby Brown, she could really be one of our long-lost siblings. It's crazy. So I really enjoyed cosplaying her. I really love the shaved hair because I really did get my hair buzzed for it. But I also did it because I really like having my hair up out of my face. It's been such a relief to have it short again. I'll probably never grow it out again, but I might grow it out to the length that she has it in the second season, so I can do her punk outfit.
Right.
Because she's freaking adorable. I want to cosplay all of her outfits from the second season. So there's that. But I don't know. So I saw that IMDb has Stranger Things slated for 2 more seasons after the second one.
Yep, that's correct.
And I don't know how I feel. I'm okay with it because I liked the show a lot and I want more of it. And I feel like some of the characters they introduced in the second season didn't get fully developed to the point where I'm attached to them. And I'm trying to say all this without giving away spoilers and stuff. But if it had ended at the end of the second season, I would have been happy because I think that it was the perfect wrap up to the show if they had just ended it there. But I don't know. I know that they're going to ride that as long as they can because they're making money off of it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's about, those are the big like new things from a fandom standpoint that I've been into this year. I don't have a lot to wrap up for the year. I guess Star Wars comes out in like 3 weeks. So that's going to be like the last big thing on my list for fandoms this year. I know Justice League comes out this week, but honestly, I'm probably going to wait until I hear how people feel about it to decide if I'm even going to go see it in theaters or if I'm just going to wait for it to come out of theaters. I haven't decided yet. Because I really think that Marvel coming out with Thor like 2 weeks before Justice League is like, if Justice League is not good, then like it's just going to really hurt them. It's going to hurt DC a lot if it's not as good as people want it to be.
Right.
So I'm a little nervous for them because like I like DC, but like they've got a big shoe to fill after Wonder Woman and its success. So I don't know. I'm going to wait to hear what people have to say about it and then make up my mind. But yeah, just Star Wars. I mean, I'm going to probably do some Christmas cards, maybe a card exchange with some of my followers and stuff. And then, that's kind of the rest of my year. But I think you wanted to know a little bit maybe about what next year looks like for me.
Yeah, is there anything that you're looking forward to next year or things that you've got planned? Like I know like next year's full of TV shows coming out or wrapping up. Like I'm super interested in Runaways, which starts next week on Hulu, but they're going to have their season's going to run into like the end of 2018, and then Marvel is working on their like own streaming service because they just announced that there's not going to be
pull everything off of
they're pulling everything off and they're not going to be licensing anything else, and it's going to be all on their streaming service. And so like I'm waiting to see, just there's so much just stuff happening all over.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't know how I feel about that. But well, okay, so for next year, I'm still going to be really as active as I possibly can, but I also have a lot of I have one really big personal commitment that's going on, which is I'm getting married next year.
Yay!
So I'm doing my best to not procrastinate too much on the planning of that. So that's going to take a lot of my time. Since we have like about a year left until the big day. So we've started planning things and getting ideas and stuff. So I'm going to try and knock a lot of that out in like January, February, so that's all there. And then that's gonna have to take priority over everything. And then so Josh and I just started cleaning up the basement in the house. So I have this really awesome workbench in my basement and stuff. And when I moved in, I thought, oh, this will be an awesome cosplay workbench so I can work on props and stuff down here. And I just it kind of just gathered a bunch of crap and has just been kind of an area where sometimes I'll go down there and work, but there's cobwebs everywhere, and it's not really I don't want to be down there all the time because it's just not very nice. So one of my early goals for the year is to get that area cleaned up so that I can have an actual, Come Away Cosplay has this really awesome workspace in her house, and I think that mine is, I have a little house, it's just a ranch with a basement, but I think the basement is big enough where if I convert it, it could be a nice cospace like that. So, that's another one of my big projects. And then I really love YouTubing, and I kind of fell off the wagon with that just because of life and things going on. And it's hard, people who want to start a blog, if anyone's listening and they want to start a blog or a YouTube channel, or they want to be Instagram famous, I'll just warn you, being active on that, if you're going to be active on YouTube, you probably have to be, YouTube's kind of an entity in itself, but if you're going to do one thing, you probably have to do 3 other things, and it's a huge time crunch. So, and I think that some people think, oh, I'm just going to make a video and I'm going to post it and it's going to be I'm going to be instantly famous, and it just doesn't work like that. You have to put a lot of time into it. And I like really want to get back into YouTubing, because I've enjoyed the videoing. I think that the conversation that you and I are having right now, because of YouTube, I am so much less awkward having a conversation than before, because it's helped with my public speaking. It's helped with me getting more comfortable just in my own skin. So I kind of want to give that a little bit more of my time, and kind of focus on that a little bit more. I started doing some Twitch streams, which I might do that, but I don't think that that's like, if I was able to get to affiliate status on that, that would be cool, but I don't ever think that I'm going to be dedicated enough to Twitch, to be like a partner, because I don't know, you have to really be like, okay, I'm really going to give up my Tuesday and Thursday nights for this and not do anything else. And my schedule's just too random with work and travel and family and friends to like be like, yeah, I'll never be available on Thursdays. Sorry. So, I mean, I might still, I like to still dabble in that, but I probably won't be regular on that or anything. So YouTube's going to be my big, like, I want to focus on it. And like, I haven't been blogging as much because I suck. And so hopefully just focus on those two things a little bit more. And then, I don't know, the last thing that you're probably interested in hearing is like, what cosplays am I working on next?
No, I don't care about that at all.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can end this. No. Okay. So we talked a lot about Belle. I've actually made like quite a few dream costumes this year. So like Sailor Moon, was a big one. And Princess Mononoke was another one. I've had that one. I've had materials for that for 3 years. And I finally made it. And all I can say is it was worth the wait, because I never could have done that. Like, it's a much bigger project than I thought it would be. So like, I've done a lot of like dream costumes this year. So now like this year, another thing I've gotten into has been fan art. And like, I actually do dabble in my own artwork. I just don't share it very much, because I'm like really, like, that's one of the things that I'm like, I'm really personal about is my art. I'm trying to get to a point where I'm more comfortable with sharing it, because I think people would like to see it, but like fan art and original designs, because I would like to make my own like fashion portfolio at some point, but, like I said, I don't know how many projects I'm going to have time for with wedding planning, so it's just going to kind of be at a casual pace. Nothing's going to be rushed. I've kind of learned how to just not con crunch this year, because I get sick and I get cranky because I don't get enough sleep. Like, it's just not worth it, because then I end up like rushing things and I make mistakes and I'm not happy with the costume. So like, I've been a lot happier this year because I've learned to kind of just feel like, you know what, I've got an unmentionable number of costumes in the closet that are perfectly ready for a convention, and I'll just wear one of those and I'll finish this when I finish it. But fan art, original pieces, I have a Zelda fan art that I'm in love with, that the artist has given me permission to cosplay. So that's one of my bigger projects that I want to finish. So there's that Zelda re-inspiration there.
Awesome.
My next big princess project, though, like when I say that Belle was the biggest undertaking, I really feel like I could conquer any sewing project after that. So my next princess project is going to be Rapunzel, which I'm really excited because, as far as overall princess movies, I think I connect with Rapunzel the most. Like, she's an artist, she's quirky, she's excited about life, and, you know, she's also kind of nervous, and she's also obsessed with lights, which I'm an optical engineer, so, you know, I kind of love that part about her. And then she, like, when I first cut my hair off, it was like really long and like sun bleached, and now it's like really short and brown. So I'm like, oh, I even like cut my hair like her. So, you know, I'm really excited to cosplay her. I have, you know, Josh did his Flynn Rider, Keyblade Warrior, so he already has a Flynn Rider outfit. Yes. So I already have a Flynn. And then White Knight cosplay is actually going to be my Mother Gothel, so I'm very excited about that. She's going to be perfect. And then, I don't know, I've kind of discovered this year that, like, my Disney costumes are kind of my golden costumes, because I just connect with them on a different level than I do with a lot of the other characters. And like, you know, I grew up with them. That's my thing. So I'm probably going to start doing focusing a lot more on Disney. And I say that and I'll get distracted and I'll do something else. But like, I really do think I want to do more princesses and more Disney characters, because that's just, I think that I really connect with that and it shows. So I don't know. That's a lot of what I got going on. Do you have any questions?
No, but you know what? I'll add in for people that are interested in starting something, like you had said, like a YouTube channel or a blog or everything like that. Heck yes, you do a lot more than you are expected to, than you ever thought you would on social media. I've gotten the comment lately that people are like, wow, you're all over the place, like on Twitter and Facebook, and you're commenting and retweeting and sharing. And I'm like, yeah, I have to, like, the only way that I can build a growth or whatever is having, like, starting relationships with people and getting to know them and they know me, and then maybe they'll check my stuff out. It's almost like a second job. And I already have a family and one job where I'm working like 55 or 60 hours a week at. So it is insane the amount of engagement that you have to do.
Yeah. Well, and engagement is really the key. Like, I don't know. I still see people who are running all over the place being like, oh, I just really need to make it to 6,000 followers by next week, or I need to make it to 30,000 by the end of the year. And I'm like, that's great for you. And I mean, it does get easier as you gain more followers, but I just kind of haven't been focusing on that anymore, because it's just, I mean, when I hit milestones, yeah, I get excited about it, but I'm not sitting around being like, why am I not gaining followers? Because my engagement with my fan base is really amazing, and that does a lot more and speaks a lot more to me than it does to just be like, oh, well, look at my numbers, they're so much better than yours. Because if yeah, you could have 10,000 followers, but if none of them want to comment or like your photos, then really it's just a number. So I don't know. That's just something that's taken me a while to learn. I'm embarrassed to say that, but this year it's been a huge weight off my shoulder to not be worrying about that, and being freaking out about what's going to get people's attention and focusing on what I want. And then the people that are interested in the things that I want will find you. So that's been a big deal this year too. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking, you can have people, it's so easy to hit the like or the heart or whatever and then just scroll past. But to have the people actually comment and engage with you, and then, you go back and forth and talk, that's what I love. That's when I know that I'm connecting beyond, okay, they hit a like, they liked the picture, or they liked what I said, for them to respond back, or even I guess retweet, because it shows up on their feed, for Twitter.
I don't know. I don't want to call it my junk platform, because that sounds bad, but really, no, Twitter's, it doesn't have to be organized, and it doesn't have to be upfront. You don't have to be like, oh, well, this is my profile and I can't post that there, because Instagram's very if I post something funny there, it's going to stand out like a sore thumb, being that's not really her style and stuff. But Twitter, no one cares. Mm-hmm. And so I'm all about if I see something and I'm that's awesome, I'm going to retweet it, because it gets that many more followers to see someone else's work. And I just think it's really cool to help other people out.
Well, and that's how I found the Woodwalker book. There was, I think, a conversation between you and Emily Martin, and she said that you would make a perfect, I think she had said Mona.
Yes, not May. Sorry, I think I said earlier that I connect with May, but I meant Mona. Too many M names. But
yeah, and you I think you had it showed up on the feed. I was like, well, wait a second, let me look into this book. And I have certain books that I always buy, and it's always the same authors, and I always read them, and they're on my list of stuff. And I don't normally stray outside of stuff where I get recommendations, but this, you had commented, she had wrote back, and I was like, well, I gotta read this.
Yeah, I love that she's interactive. Like, that, it's really cool, because it's like, some people would just be like, okay, this is girl who's like obsessed with this stuff. But I really do, like, I love that she makes her own artwork and stuff for the books, and because then someone could help her make an artwork for the cover that is kind of her vision, but maybe something about it's not right. Like, if she's putting pen to paper and bringing that character to life with her own art, like, that you're seeing what was in her head and how she envisioned the character, and I think that's really cool. Like, that's a really cool aspect of it.
Yeah, and the book was a lot of fun to read.
Yeah, I love how much dialogue there is, because it makes it fly by.
Yeah, there was one part where I think I didn't throw the book, but I was definitely shocked where I had to stop reading, and I was like, I can't read it anymore.
It's like, no, I can't do this. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, where can people find you, Sadie?
So I'm all over the place. So my main like social media platforms would be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and you can find me on all of them as Sadie by Design, or I have my personal website, which is sadiebydesign.com. So feel free to contact me or check out my stuff on any of them. And thanks for having me, David.
It's always my pleasure, and you're always welcome anytime.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/talesfromthefandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.